Now, TfL bosses have come under fire after banning an advert... Oh, God. They've banned an advert for a comedy show because it had a hot dog on it, because that supposedly promotes obesity.
Well, the comedian Ed Gamble has swapped the...
Lose that strap so we can see the hot dog.
It's in his mouth, isn't it?
No, it's on the table.
Oh, it's on the table.
There you go.
Oh, and it's ketchup all over his shirt. OK.
Yeah.
The comedian Ed Gamble has swapped the image of the fast food favourite in favour of a cucumber instead. And there's the cucumber on the plate.
Which obviously makes no sense now in terms of why has he got ketchup all over his T-shirt.
Yeah.
If you're listening on the radio, you'll have to Google it to have a look. I mean,
you're not missing a lot.
It's crazy. So is the UK turning into a nanny state? Let's talk to former presenter of Fat Families, Steve Miller, and nutritionist Olivia Parry. Good to see you both this morning. Olivia, it's a comedy show. He's not promoting eating hot dogs, is he? Is this just a load of nonsense?
Well, it's given him great advertising. I'd never heard of him before, had you?
Yes.
But, I mean... The thing is, we have a huge problem with overweight and obesity in this country. We're fourth in Europe. It's big business. Advertising for food companies is big business. They make so much money. You just have to switch on primetime TV to watch, food after food advertisements. And it's for the youngsters as well, who don't have the nutritional education. We're not taught cookery in school anymore. People go to college and to university, they don't know how to cook.
But
and it leads
forgive me for jumping in, Olivia. Forgive me for jumping in, but the whole point with this is it's an advert for a comedy show.
Yes, I know, but this is a wider issue, isn't it? It's always there. It's always there in the background. Why don't they advertise or make a joke out of vegetables instead, or promote more healthy eating? It's just always there. You're lucky if you can hear anything on the radio advertising healthy eating. And the whole problem is that the NHS, which is the taxpayer, we spend £25,000 on diabetes every minute. It leads to serious diseases. This is serious. I know this is, I might think, oh my gosh, really.
Type 2 diabetes. Let's just clarify that one. I say that as a type 1, as I think. Ed Gamble is. I might be wrong on that. After I think he's a type 1 as well. Steve, what do you think?
It's this.
I think it's a load of old tosh, to be quite honest with you. It's a hot dog. In fact, I wish they'd have put onions on the hot dog. A bit of what you fancy won't hurt you. You should eat 80-20 anyway, because denial is doomed. But there's a bigger picture here. We talk about a nanny state. I actually think, arguably, we're becoming an authoritarian state. Opinions banned. Comedy banned. The England flag banned. It's like we've got to wear a virtual muzzle. People are frightened to speak out these days. It's stifling creativity in business. It's stifling learning as well. So this isn't, just about a flaming hot dog on a plate. It's a bigger picture. You start talking to people nowadays, and a lot of my friends will say to me, oh, you wouldn't be able to say that these days. Oh, that might cross a line. According to who? I'll say what I want, thank you very much. So actually, I think all of this about, oh, he's got a hot dog on his plate is just utter ridiculousness, completely bonkers. And fair play to him. It's got him the publicity that maybe he didn't think he'd get, actually. So, there's always a plus.
Olivia, are we stifling people?
I think it's more about nudging people in the right direction, not telling them what to do. But when you think about the bigger picture, obesity and overweight does lead to heart disease and cancer and all these other nasty illnesses. And I'm sure, all of you have had people in their lives who've been affected by them. I've been personally affected by them. And, seeing someone go through heart failure when they could have eaten healthier.
Yeah, but you're not going to deal with it with a hot dog. You're not going to deal with that because there's a hot dog on a plate. You're going to deal with it by being more blunt, by saying to people, maybe an advert that says, if you're fat, think before ordering when you're in a restaurant. If you're fat, think before swallowing. You've got to be much more blunt about it. You've got to make it more emotional. This guy in a hot dog on his plate with a bit of sauce on it is not going to be responsible for making us become blooners.
Unfortunately, many people aren't educated enough or have been brought up in the right, with parents who know how to cook.
That's very
So,
patronising. No, you're being very, very patronising. It's very patronising. Typical middle-class patronising stuff, that. People aren't stupid. They know what they should eat to be slimmer. People do know. And what nutritionists have got to do is stop giving their sermons out that actually confuse the nation, because one nutritionist will say one thing, another nutritionist will say another. What you should be saying is actually never give up a bit of junk food, because a bit of what you fancy is pretty good. It's pretty good. Life would be really dull and boring without a hot dog with onions, or a bag of chips occasionally, a packet of crisps, and a nice bottle of wine to wash it down.
No one likes to be told what to do, me included. But I still say that if you can nudge people in the right direction and encourage a positive, healthy eating way of living and enjoying life, healthy food can be tasty. It's not like,
Do you think a
little bit of what you
cucumber?
fancy.
You think a cucumber on a plate is going to educate people to go out today and put fruit and veg in the trolley?
No, in this instance, yes, it has. It's created a big media buzz. I agree with that, but I think overall we do need to improve our nutritional education and encourage people to think about eating healthier. That's where I stand, and I don't tell people what to do. I encourage them and I allow them to realise that when they do eat healthier, they feel a lot better.
You've got to be honest. You've got to be honest, though,
Steve.
Steve.
It's failed. Sorry,
Steve. You've got to be honest. If anyone getting on the tube, if they see that hot dog, maybe they're going to be a bit tempted to walk out the tube station and buy one, because it does set the old saliva flowing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, why not? Bit of what you fancy won't hurt you. Listen, and we've been talking about healthy eating and nothing else for the last 25 years. It's achieved absolutely nothing because the public are confused. What we need to do is realise that managing your weight is a mindset issue, it's an attitude issue, and it's a self-motivation issue. It's not about looking at, a hot dog on a plate versus a cucumber on a plate. It's just utterly ridiculous. It's bonkers.
I agree with the mindset part of it. Yes, a lot of people are psychological, are emotional eaters, but you have to eat the right foods to keep your blood sugar in balance. Otherwise, you'll be in a roller coaster and you'll always be hungry. So you have to get the fundamentals right.
We've been saying that for the last 20 years, though. We've been saying that, your message, we've been saying for 25 years. It has failed miserably. We're fatter than ever because of mindset and motivation, not about looking at a cucumber versus a hot dog.
Well, Steve, Olivia, I'm afraid we've got to leave it there, but thank you very much for your time and your thoughts on that one. You will have a view at home, gbviews@gbnews.com.